YouTube top 8 with the new ban list applied officially from Konami. Apollo is banned, and surprise, the meta is way more diverse. And with this diverse meta, we have Evil Plu with Centurion in the top freaking 8. He is the underdog, so we're definitely gonna be rooting for his deck. Are you ready? Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Start this off with a ritual. Not chaining Maxi. Not chaining Foolos. This, we activate the effect to summon from the hand, so Foolos obviously would not be good. Now we're chaining Maxi to the Murakumo already being on the field, forcing us to discard a card. I am sussed out a bit here. Why did we wait for him to summon, then Maxi? I guess we wanted him to commit to a Night Sword Serpent and then Maxi, because otherwise he would not have sent a Night Sword Serpent, I guess. Normal summon the Foolos, further go into the Granite. Does not care about the effect of Maxi. We're now going to be adding from the deck our Nibiru. Nibiru is here. We're going to further activate the ritual. And now that we have committed, we don't apply the effect on resolution. We choose the effect on activation to summon from the deck or hand. We already summoned from the hand. We have to summon from the deck here. You can't call it off. From the deck, I now draw 2. Thank you very much. So this overall worked out quite well. We forced them to heavily commit. We now are going to start off turn 2 with 7 cards in hand. And with our 7-card hand, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with a searched for Nibiru, forcing us to discard a card, and they could wipe away our field. Only triple disruption with the 7-card hand. We have triple tactics. Now the imperm, unfortunately, is not going to be that great. We can imperm the Futsu because even though it's not a form of disruption, it's going to be incredibly annoying to break the field with Futsu. Every time we special summon, it's going to reborn a reptile from the grave. Let's, as I said, negate the Futsu. Primera is going to be searching for the stand-up Centurion. We want for there to at least be multiple bodies in the field before forcing out the effect to wipe out their field. We're going to make them discard the Triple Tactics talent, and now we can Triple Tactics talent take control. Let's be forcibly triggering the Murakumo early. So we now have to choose. Do we want to trigger the effect of Murakumo on a separate chain link? It comes out, it wipes the field. It feels a lot more beneficial because we get to summon an additional body, trigger its effect, which will probably be a +2 right there. And then the Murakumo summons and searches. That is the immensely much more beneficial play, but it then loses to a card like Ash or Ghost Bell, or if they were holding on to their called by. Oh, we went for the greed. We went real greedy. Now we're gonna Ash the effect of the Murakumo unless we chain link block it. So that's another thing you have to consider here. We're essentially only having to play around called by. If we put the Kusanagi on the higher chain link, then it's not really that much of a risk. We took the wrong card. If we took Kusanagi, he would not be able to chain link block. Think about that. Take the Kusanagi, Murakumo should be chain link 1, and there should be no chain link 2. We then Ash it, right? I think so. We're gonna trigger the stand-up, trigger this, so this would be chain link 2. There'd be no chain 3. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. But by taking the Futsu, we had another play. Instead of him not being able to chain link block the Murakumo, then we Ash it, we instead want to use stand-up to synchro with the Futsu. All right, maybe this will work out. It's different. It is more interesting, I'd say. Let's see how this works out. He would not have been able to add. He would not be able to summon and wipe our field. We would have lost our Ash by doing so to stop the chain link block. And we have a Legatia. Legatia is gonna pop and draw as we lose our Legatia. So they still don't have the Murakumo on field. We get to draw a card. He actually protects. Because we're not destroying the entire field, the Kusanagi protects it from being destroyed. It destroys itself instead. Or attributes itself instead, I should say. Tridea, Gargoyle, Emblema Oath, set up the Atrai. Atrai is gonna summon, Pariah Life has too much advantage here. Nibiru off the field. We played Nibiru, of course. Everyone should be on Nibiru. Negate the Nibiru mate. All right. Now, I want to further give the ruling. If you steal Kusanagi, guess what? You can activate their Kusanagi. If you're playing the mirror match and you have your own Mitsurugi card that's banished or engraved, you would activate it and take control. And you'd be thinking, well, aren't you now chainlink blocking their Murakumo? Your Kusanagi, which is their Kusanagi after you take control of it, would be the lower chainlink. The Murakumo would be the higher chainlink. So you would take their Kusanagi, activate the Kusanagi, they activate Murakumo, you ash their Murakumo, it would have been beautiful. But, you know, we're not playing Mitsurugi ourselves, so we wouldn't have actually seen exactly that. Auxilla is going to be searching, chainlink blocking with the Gargoyle. Come back to us, sure. As we now have the Wake Up. Wake Up's going to summon a level 8 token on the field, or a 4. Let's now Drew a Swarm, which this is a Chaos Angel. Let's freaking go. I mean, Plu is making some good plays. Banish away the Murakumo, send the Gallant Granite, 6,500 damage. Has Gargoyle already summoned? Yeah, what? Send a Centurion to special summon. Is that not game? Do we win? What? 8,500 damage. Cross out Designate. Negate the Nibiru, mate. Lethal damage. Would we have still had lethal if we had the Kusanagi taken instead and negated with Ash? Holy moly, well done, Plu. Good job to you. Let's keep on going. Let's see what's good here. Droll to on the ad, hit him with the Droll, and then GG. Yes? Can't add, we could use the Ritual. We could have chained Prayers though. We're still gonna Ritual, Tribute from the deck to summon the Murakumo from the hand. Night Sword still reborns. Kusanagi will still add back a banished or engraved card. Now, under the effect of Droll, we can't reborn Murakumo through its own effect. If we wanted to activate the effect of the Ritual to tribute then someone from the deck. Despite that, we're still doing it. We're getting a Futsu on the field, sure. Doesn't reborn, but it's now in the grave and properly summoned. With it being properly summoned in grave, we could reborn it back with the Futsu, we could reborn it back with the Mitsurugi Prayers, we could reborn it back with the Dynamundo. We have 3 different ways to get the Murakumo back out to wipe the opposing field. So we have a field wipe, force them to discard, we could Little Knight banish, we could negate with the Impulse, about 5 forms of disruption. Now, what's going to be scary is the Baldrake, but the Prayers will protect us from Baldrake as we'll simply reborn it outside of the Baldrake banishing, or we could Impulse on Baldrake, but probably using Prayers instead would be better. Futsu will be further reborning anything we want from the graveyard per special summon multiple times. Primera negates the Primera, does not get destroyed, it's going to stay in the back row, which will allow us to summon Gargoyle if we want to. In the battle, so that Masquerena is not activatable. And as I said, activate the Prayers to force out, ooh, what the heck? But I'm not using the Prayers to search my deck. Oh, I actually am, but wow. We got clapped by Ash. That's an issue. That's a big issue. Damn. Now, if we saw this coming and we summoned a Dynamundo early within the main phase, what would have happened here? Let's read this. Whenever you want during the opponent's turn, you contribute this card to target the Ritual targeted by Baldrake to special summon it. So had we randomly just had a Dynamundo, then we could have played around the Baldrake even within the battle phase. But how were we supposed to know that he was going to not only Bestial, but also Ash our Prayers? Interesting stuff here. And we successfully banished the Murakumo because we didn't get a Dynamundo out. Now, Futsu is going to still search, and it's going to reborn. Goodbye to the Masquerena. I think... are we in a Bestial meta? Bestial banish the Mitsurugis. Bestial banish the Orchist. Bestial banish the Fiendsmith. A bunch of people were playing Tier Limit today. Bestial banish the Tier Limit. I think we also now have to be playing freaking Bestials. Mitsurugi Mirror. We're going to chain the Primera. We don't have Field Spell to go into a Chaos Angel to get Banishing. So for Plu, we're in a pretty weak spot here. The immense searching and reborning of Mitsurugi, it's going to be overwhelming. Baldrake's going to be banishing away the Habakiri, which is not that big of a deal. If we were able to banish the Futsu instead, I think that would have been more beneficial. Search and reborn. Normal summon the Aramasa. Come to us, Habakiri. We have not used our once per duel Habakiri effect yet. What the heck? Mirror's gonna be channeling block on the Saji if you wanted to negate it from searching. Return deck. Ritual. Pre-prep. Grab a mirror and a Murakumo. It's just endless. Every card we activate, +1, +1, +1. It's like pot agreed over and over and over again. And if every single card is leading to a +1, you're just going to get immensely overwhelmed. This is why you gotta hit them with the Droll, and Droll got semi-freaking limited. Dark is here, which can now steal from the opponent's graveyard. Your Baldrake is mine. 75-50 damage. And on top of the endless plussing, the Murakumo then forces you to discard if you want to activate anything. There's the Dynamundo. Ready to reborn the Murakumo whenever we want. So our form of disruption will be, Baldrake triggers Murakumo. Tribute the Murakumo, it then reborns back and searches your deck. You freaking what, mate? But beyond that, we could wipe the field, force them to discard, and banish an extra deck monster being summoned. Triple disruption with this field. And then if we are able to actually make a play here, what's going to happen is the Wuso is going to tribute off our field. Wow. Wow. Typhon countered 3 freaking disruptions. That's the best use of Typhon I have ever seen in my life. From 3 disruption to 0. Actually insane. Well done to Typhon. Well, Typhon's now gone, as I said. Wuso is going to be triggering the Habakiri to search for a prayers potentially. Before the prayers is added to the hand, we want to banish the Murakumo before they even activate the prayers. Now, with the prayers, we could Kusanagi add back. There it is. Kusanagi will add back the banished possible Murakumo, unless we're playing more than one copy or we have other... Wait, there's 2 banished already. You up, mate? Magatama being searched for. Let's just go for lethal damage here. Take out the Magnum Hunt and swing for game. Interesting duel. Great use of Typhon. Very interesting play with the Baldrake and the Ash Blossom. I think all these duels have been quite interesting. Very interesting ruling with the triple tactics talent and chain link blocking and also stopping that. Will there be even more cool stuff for Game 3? I hope so. Primera into the stand-up Centurion. This is not looking good for Pariah. Further put up the Atrai. Just the fact that we have double Bestial for any Mitsurugi shenanigans, you really have to activate the higher tier of thinking of how do I play around the Bestials and the freaking field. What's the field? The field is being able to Atrai and whatever summoned off of the Heavenly Sphere into a disruption with the field spell. We have the Hermetic Seal bouncing a card back. We have Blazar negating anything. We have Phalanx banishing a monster card. We then have double banish of the Bestials. We also could banish a card summoned from the extra deck. It's about 7 form of disruption. But as we said earlier, the Mitsurugi deck is all about plussing like crazy. Unfortunately, we have 2 cards in our hand that we would want the Night Sword at least to be in the deck. Called by the Grave is here. Negate the normal summon. Normal summon negated. We're gonna follow up with pre-prep. Come to us Mirror, and our Habakiri is here. Now we're going to be summoning and tributing the Saji. Saji is going to be making us trigger the effect of the Regain to Reborn the Jerusalem as he searches for the Ritual. Sure. Ritual is here. We didn't want to finger the Jerusalem. We're holding on to our finger. Ritual in response, we're going to summon the Atrai. This could be a play of Chaos Angel. If we trigger the field spell here. We're going to summon a Habakiri. As we trigger the Kusanagi to add back the ritual. Trigger the negated Aramasa. Well, we had another Aramasa. We're not triggering the field spell. The field spell doesn't just trigger on our own special summon. It's either player special summoning will trigger the field spell to perform a synchro. Tributing off our tuner. The tuner being no longer in the field, that's going to mess things up for our ability to use the field spell to synchro. Impulse, negate, and destroy the Baldrake. I just gotta pause to say, I love how toolboxy this feels. The fact that we have a Kaiju in our deck because we're playing Pure. We got the Magatama to pop. We have the annoyance of Futsu, which is normally not played in the non-Pure versions of the deck. Pure Mitsurugi is in a really good spot. Goodbye to Baldrake. Tribute off Habakiri into the Murakumo. Non-target field wipe. We are activating it. This is it. Wipe the field. Erratic Seal is going to tribute itself to activate on a separate chain link to summon from the deck. We're going to force them to discard for the effect of returning the Murakumo back to the hand, possibly. Discard Primera. Return the Murakumo. Wipe the fields as the Habakiri further searches for a prayers. Let's reborn back the Habakiri as we're now going to be triggering the Druiswarm and the Heavenly Sphere. We're also triggering the Primus. If a face-up Centurion leaves the field while this is in the graveyard, reborn it back in the field, and we are going to finger the Druiswarm, letting the Primus be resummoned. Now, Primus, is it a secret? I think there's two things that are secret about it. If it's reborn from the graveyard, it cannot be destroyed by battle, and its search effect also destroys a card in the opponent's side of the field. Regain's gonna return back the Druiswarm into a max freaking C. Ain't no way. By the way, I have max C. Bye-bye. Wow. Regained drawing max C for game. Disgusting. And this truly was a resource battle. Both players, any and all searches and draws were just slowly accumulating their resources to outgrind the opponent, but then the max C made it way too unfair to continue the rest of the duel. I am out of here. No, thank you. Ua loss in the draw phase. No, thank you. We're going to ash it. If Triple Tactics talent is going to become more prevalent, you want to be using your Fualasi and or Maxi in the draw phase to help play around it. And I suspect the usage is going to skyrocket. I think so. If we were to look at today's event, the lists of them, and we check on Triple Tactics talent compared to last week, it's going to be a lot more. Let's now look at the opponent's hand. Let's return that once per duel effect. Back in the deck you go. Ritual tributing off the Habakiri from the hand to summon the Murakumo from the deck. Let's further go into a Dyna freaking Mundo. Set the impulse and pass. Dyna Mundo was more risky when Call by the Grave was at 2. With the Call by the Grave being reduced to 1, getting a Murakumo in the graveyard is much less of a risk. We have the Impulse negated special summon, we have the Monster Field Wipe, and we could also force them to discard. Triple Disruption, brick, no play in the hand whatsoever, nothing in the grave. Let's go. Brick! We're bricking! What the heck? You would think the Ryziel version of the deck is supposed to make the deck more consistent. Where are your Ryziel cards? What the? Now, the Dynamundo can only reborn from the graveyard during the opponent's turn. We could have chosen to reborn during the end phase if we wanted to. Now, the risk is, what if there's a mind game going on? What if they are holding onto a Called By because they know that you're going to Dynamundo, but then you don't Dynamundo and they end their turn with Called By in the hand? Maybe Dailingo is kind of thinking that. Let's play into Nibiru, right? Well, Impulse is set, meaning it can negate Nibiru. This is not lethal, right? What do we have? Was this reborn off of prayers? Is that why it wasn't able to attack? Okay, so what are we looking at? We have a play. We finally have the way, but the impulse negates the play, and there's nothing else to really say. We have Omni Negate plus Negate, and we could reborn to wipe the field, and then we could further make them discard at least 4 forms of disruption. Negate the ritual. And, yep, Omni Negate, further backing us up, mates. Well done. Pure taking a game off Ryzeal, but we didn't lose because we're playing Ryzeal. We actually lost because we didn't draw the Ryzeal portion of our deck. Prayers in the draw phase to play around Duel. Quite a turn. We have negate with cross, 4 pops. We have forced them to discard a card, wipe the entire opposing field of monsters. Nibiru, Ash Blossom, Purification, negate anything. Called by the Grave is 11. Cross out Designate because this is a mirror match. I could cross out the Habakiri. 12 disruptions. This is 12. Yup, it's 12. Oh, what the heck? There we go. As I said, Detonator gets tributed off. So off of the Detonator, we lose 4 disruptions. So we're now down to 8. We cross out Designate. We're now down to 7. And I guess he couldn't play it through a measly 7 more disruptions after knocking off 4 of them. Let's go. Pre-prep into the mirror Habakiri here. Wow, all I could say is wow. We can Masquerena double banish, we could wipe the field with Murakumo, we could force them to discard, we could negate anything with the Purification, we could negate a special with someone with Impulse, we could Nibiru the field. It's not quite 12 disruptions like Ryzeal Mitsurugi, but it's still 7. Yeah, okay, 7. And the Futsu gives incredible field resilience, great board presence. We're gonna Purification, negate the pre-prep. Because we don't want pre-prep to give them access to the Habakiri, which they all still have the Habakiri. Let's reborn back the Futsu and search our deck, plussing like crazy, crazy plussing. Futsu pretty much guarantees another turn. We know that we're not going to get 1 turn kill with the Futsu on the field. Per special summon, we're going to keep on reborning from the grave. That's a Futsu trigger. Futsu come back. Saji's going to protect our other reptiles from being destroyed by battle or card effect. And further plussing. Every special summon your opponent pluses 2. They reborn and search, reborn and search. All right, so we are down to 6. Prayers is going to be adding the Aramasa. We're going to special summon it as the Magatama is added to be used next turn. Habakiri and Grave is going to be chain link blocked by the Aramasa. We're going to search for a monster as the Habakiri searches for any Mitsurugi card. Our own Futsu to our hand. As I said, Futsu is pretty much mostly only used in the pure version of the deck. We got Futsu in the Ryzeal version. We're gonna use the Impulse on to the Ritual. And this is where we get into one of the immense benefits of playing pure Mitsurugi. On the list of why you should play this deck is they have Impulse and the Ryzeal version doesn't, and it is incredibly good to use Impulse onto the Ritual. Now, it's not the same thing as Ash. You can only Ash 1 effect of the Ritual. If they use the effect to dump from the deck and summon from the hand, you can't Ash that. But with Impulse, you stop it once, and they're not able to recycle it back because they don't get the Kusanagi and Grave to add it back. Impulse is way better than Ash. And as I say that, we have Kusanagi hard drawn, which is mostly considered to be a brick, but in this scenario, it actually just adds back the Ritual. Let's reborn back the Murakumo to wipe the field. In the rare instance where we're actually able to use the Ritual here, thanks to the hard-drawn Kusanagi being normal freaking summoned, let's chain the Masquerena into Little Knight. Little Knight's gonna want to banish a card in the field as we summon the Futsu. And let's now trigger all of the effects here. Trigger the Murakumo. Murakumo was tributed from the hand, so it's not properly summoned. It's not reborning, it's just searching. We had the Little Knight targeting the Futsu to banish it away. Be gone, as we add the mirror to now properly summon the Murakumo from grave. Aramasa adding the Wuso. Like, look how stupid this is. Like, look how much we're plussing. We now have 7 cards in our hand. The Futsu guarantees we don't lose, and then just through all our Mitsurugi effects, we just keep on adding to our hand endlessly. That's the scenario you're setting up. You can't beat me, and I'm gonna plus a million times. tribute off the Habakiri, reborn the Murakumo from Engrave, as we're now going to wipe the field. Little Knight is going to chain banish both Murakumos to come back during the end phase. We're going to force them to discard a card to properly resolve that Little Knight. Don't need that Fua. Wipe the field. This was summoned off of a Masquerina, thus it survived. And Night Sword is here, and it looks like the Raziel version is not going to be keeping up. But I would say, again, we didn't draw into... So, can we blame Raziel for losing this? I'll say yes. Because this node Raziel could have been an Impulse instead. This would be why, if I asked Dailingo, why do you not want to play the Raziel version? I'm not saying the pure Mitsurugi version is better than the Raziel, but this would be a reason why. Well, he drew into a brick. The brick was part of the Raziel engine. What if you draw into the Raziel field spell? It's a brick. What if you draw into node? It's a brick. What if you draw on a star? It's a brick. There are bricks that come with you teching in the Raziel engine, which instead, those 3 bricks I mentioned could be Impulse, Impulse, Impulse. What if he were to instead Impulse my Ritual? Maybe my field would have not been as good. Again, I'm not trying to argue against Raziel, I'm just trying to give both sides. And of course, if the node were a hard-drawn X Raziel, if it were a 7 Tachyon, it would have been much better. It's just the unfortunate situation of Kawaki where he lost a duel from drawing no Raziel, and then he loses the other duel by drawing only the bricks of Raziel, or a brick, one of the bricks. Add from the deck. Wipe the fields. Oh my Jesus. Lethal damage. Well done. Begin. Max C in response to the Habakiri. Cross out designate to negate it, mate. How do we get the Dingirsu Engrave? We are going to discard search for the World Crown. Okay. Am I not thinking right? How do we get this Engrave? We have Impulse and get a special summon. We could force them to discard. We can't even trigger the Murakumo. What happened here? Force them to discard and Impulse is all we have? Huh? Why didn't we link this off? Into a Dynamundo at least. Not Dynamundo, but a Masquerina which could go into a Dynamundo. You would then Masquerina... Maybe we don't play Dynamundo. I don't think we have room for that. But at least a Masquerina. And then Dingirsu could be rebornable back with the symbol. We lost out on like 3 extra disruptions. I'm really confused. How did this happen? Huh? Wouldn't it have been better to... We didn't activate the symbol yet. So what you do is you link off Dingirsu into a Link 2. You then reborn the Galtail Link 2 from the graveyard, and then you make an Enlil Girsu, and you could keep the Murakumo on the field even. Now, the Link 2 you would make can be you would have to sacrifice like your Masquerina or your Little Knight, and then you go into the Enlil Girsu. He doesn't play 2 Galtea. You don't have to. So what I want to emphasize here, we have Dingirsu in the Galtail Link 1 with the Murakumo, right? It's a 3-body field. Think about this. You link off the Dingirsu and the Galtea into any Link 2 that is summonable here. Little Knight or Masquerina. Now, Galtail Link 2 is in the graveyard and it was properly summoned. You then use the symbol. Did we use symbol last turn? I don't remember if we did. We then banish symbol to reborn the Galtail Link 2, and then 2 plus 2 is a 2-body Enlil Girsu. Enlil Girsu does not require 3 bodies. It's 2. So Masquerina plus the Galtail Link 2. You keep Murakumo. You have Enlil Girsu. You have the ability to take control. You could reborn the Dingirsu. We undercooked. 2 plus 2 equal 2? Equals 1, actually. Gursu getting banished by the Galatea Link 1 to Reborn. You make Little Knight then, okay? You make Little Knight. Listen, my point stands. You make Little Knight. Make Little Knight, Reborn Galatea Link 2. My play is correct. I said summon whatever summonable. Return back the Gursu. Yeah, right? So there's no one contending with what I'm saying, right? We had the play to go into Enlo Gursu and keep Murakumo. Begin. Ooh, we got Lancia for Orcust. This should be our easy win, right? They are playing Orcust. This is Orcust mirror match, right? No, I was mixed up. This is not wait. I'm confused. The dude has Dingursu in his extra deck as just a rank 8 Xyz. He's not actually playing Orcust, but I saw Dingursu and I was like, okay, it's Orcust. No Enlil Gursu, no Galateas, nothing. Just unironically using Ding for its effect. What the heck? All right. Let's add a Murakumo. Let's use the ritual out the Murakumo. And the Habakiri is going to be searching for the Purification. Reborn back here. Beansmith tracked. Grab the Lurie. Lurie Reborn, unless we want to banish it. We do. Baldrake, banish that Lurie. Force them to discard. We're going to discard Valor. If you want to, you could discard the Bestial that's activating if you don't care to not have it on the field. Let's Reborn back. Murakumo, wipe the field. So we may as well have kept our Valor, right? If they were going to have a way to just wipe away our Baldrake, or even just take control of it with an Enlo Gursu, we're going to be searching for a World's Crown with the Galatea Link 1. Special summon it to where a Link is pointing to. Let's further make the Link 2. Holy moly, we're making plays under that Fua. We do not care. We have the Orcust Crescendo. Now, I would say generally, if you're under the effect of Fua loss, you push for a Crescendo set. Because pushing for a Crescendo set, especially under Fua loss, you have a World Crown being summoned and they're not going to draw a card. And then with the Crescendo, you know, it's our Omni freaking negate plus the negate of an extra deck with the Crown. So it's 2 disruption. We have Purification, which is going to negate anything. We could force them to discard. We could then wipe the field, but it's tied to the negate on Purification, so it's not going to be well timed. About 5 forms of disruption. Lancia, I'm not counting. I don't think Lancia is going to matter. If this were Orcust, which it's not, that's when it would matter. Let's force them to discard with the Lubellian activation to search for a Bestial that they can't even use. Gets Engraver engraved though, sure. Tribute off the Druid Swarm for Lubellian. Let's trigger the Druid Swarm to send a card on the field to the graveyard. Get rid of the Galatea Link 2, which we need Galatea to be on the field to use the Crescendo. So we're gonna Purification negate. Negate the Druid Swarm, protect our Crescendo, and then Murakumo can't Reborn because of Ash, unless we Crescendo. No Crescendo. What if they go to battle and kill your Galatea, and you didn't Crescendo the Ash to protect your Murakumo from being reborn back to then wipe out the Lubellian before it activates to set up a Regained? We're in a situation. I think we lose by not using wait, we're still activating it, and we're not going to Crescendo. This is main phase 1. We didn't want to battle. Wait, it actually can't be destroyed by battle. This linked card, the secret effect, cannot be destroyed. Holy moly. That's good. That's a good little situation there we have. We have Omni Negate plus negate an extra deck monster effect. Is this enough though? What do? If we can go to battle, take out the Crown, and then Galatea, we can't get another Bestial out because we are under the effect of Lancia. No ban. We can't Crescendo, actually. We can't Crescendo under Lancia. Oh my gosh. I was just thinking of like, wait, if they can't Bestial and we have Crescendo, wait, we can't Crescendo. Cannot Crescendo. Does this also banish? No, this is just destroying. There we go. Negate and destroy the Requiem, and Crescendo is just dead. We stopped our own Crescendo. Wild. All right, you're no longer linked. You can be destroyed by battle. Now we extra can't Crescendo. Come forth, Engraver. Sequence is here. Let me write something for the next duel real quick. Okay. Now, what are we looking at here? If Galatea is going to be reborning here, trying to special summon, and we are going to negate. Not today, mate. We have one more special summon negate. We also have a Little Knight Banish. And what's very important is that we activated the effect to reborn while we control no monsters to ensure that the Bestial in hand would not be activatable. Now, we do have the Bestial, and we are going to trigger to reborn the Ball Drake, which will be another form of disruption. Purification is going to be reborning back the Murakumo, or at least attempting to do so, as we're going to Bestial banish the Murakumo to stop its reborn. Come out. We have Ball Drake, Caesar, Little Knight. Triple disruption. Magnum HUD activate to search for a Bestial in the end phase. Requiem is here. We could negate this with Caesar if we want to. We're going to summon our Engraver. Holy draw. Max freaking C. Little Knight, banish away that Engraver. No send for you if you want to take out the Caesar. Return back the Engraver, which would try to come back in the end phase of the Little Knight, which is now gone for good. We still have the Caesar and the Ball Drake. Summon, then end the turn. I mean, what can we do? Banish away the Galatea. At the end phase, Little Knight comes back. The banished Engraver temporarily does not come back, obviously. And just like that. AOK's deck is very similar to Plu's Centurion deck. They're both controlling the duels with Bestial. So you would have to really think, which version of the deck would you rather play? Well done, 2-0. Let's set up with the Golem, go in the back row. We could droll this on the resolution of the Wedju, just like that. Well done. Let's Orcus Nightmare. Now, see this? I brought up this window because now we're under the summon restriction. Remember the trick I showed you on the website, the word cannot special? This is why you make your other plays before. Now we're locked into dark monsters only. Only dark can be special summoned. And the dark special summon restriction is including your deck, your hand, the grave. It's everywhere, not just the extra deck. Let's further go into Lil Gursu. Symbol is going to reborn back the Galatea. We're going to go into the Ding. Ding is going to attach a banished card. We're going to return the Orcus Crescendo back to our hand. Normal summon a Ghost Spell. Further go into a Dark Masquerena. I mean, wow. We have two plays. And two plays against an Ash, Omni Negate, double special summon negate, double Little Knight banish, take control of a monster non-targeting, send a card in the field to the graveyard, Ding Gursu send a card from the field to the graveyard. We could even go into a World's Crown, which is going to be able to negate an extra deck. 10 disruptions versus two plays. And we saw that he was able to Nibiru check, so even if we had Nibiru, it would be no good. Well, we're just going to send you. Right now. Yep. Yep. My deck could do that too. Yep. Got him. Well, let's hop into game 2. Let's go. What's there to say? Take control permanently. Send from the field. Again, another send from the field. We can Little Knight banish, negate anything with Crescendo, Nibiru tribute off the whole field. We could World's Crown, negate an extra deck monster activation. 8 disruptions, and good luck. Oh, yeah, never mind. He knows. Playing the same deck. Okay. Is Orcust a first turn kill? It's pretty close to it. Golem summon, add, hit him with the Droll. That's it. No more adding. We're gonna Wedgie Temple, place both in the back row, summon from the back row. Let's turn them in. We're gonna go into Mermaid first. So maybe we're gonna try to eat up another hand trap. Discard the Lurie triggers off of Mermaid. How disgusting. So now if we need to, we could normal summon Ash to go into the Fiendsmith play. Ain't no way. So we, no more adding, can't go into Orcust. Let's reborn the Lurie. Both your hand traps have been used. And now let me get Fiendsmith in, and I get to keep my Ash. I have my Imperm. I didn't even use up my normal summon yet. Let's freaking go. Equip, Doom Dragon, turn these two bodies into the sequence. Requiem, the hand trap, you gotta remember, like, what makes a good deck? The hand trap resilience here is off the charts. You have to max C. You have to fool us. Oh my gosh. Okay. Ooh, good. Imperm turning off 2 special summons, or actually the Masquerena. So the Masquerena is a double disruption, the Wave King Caesar is a double disruption, then we have Imperm and Ash. So that's 6 disruptions through 2 hand traps somehow. That makes a lot of sense. Negate the Masquerena. We're now down to 4 disruption. Can we play through 4? Harpour into Galatea link 1. Galatea is going to discard to search. You know, we don't want him to plus the World's Crown onto the field, and then the World's Crown would negate Wave King Caesar, right? That's the mindset, unless we would be like, well, now we have to imperm the World's Crown. Why not just imperm the Galatea so the World's Crown doesn't even exist? And now we're in a situation where I have to get a second body to discard the Lurie, because I already normal summoned. How do I do that? Well, I guess we don't even Orcust Harpour because we know he's going to negate. we know he had other plays. We didn't know about the Ash, but the negate was right there and transparent. So, yeah. You had 2 options. It's easy. Go first, or resolve Maxi, or resolve Fualos. Droll's not good enough. Resolving Droll, no. Fua, Maxi, or go first, and you're good. That's, I think, the only 3 options. Good job. Let's hop on another one. Nibiru is not even an option. Nibiru is not, like, what would be healthier, right? It would be healthier if Droll stops them. It would be healthier if Nibiru stops them. What do we have down here? A-OK. What are you playing? What are you on, mate? We have the unstoppable Orcust madness at the top, that is, where if they go first, they win. They play through Droll, they play through Nibiru, and you have to only resolve Max C, Full Loss, or just go first against them, which we are going first, so that's great. At the bottom, it looks like we're a Fiendsmith control deck. Yeah, Fiendsmith Bestial Control. You had the option to play Orcust, but instead, you want to play Bestials. You would rather counter instead of be on the offense. We're on the defense. We are a reactive deck. Now, the opponent has 4 freaking hand traps. Now, Droll would be used if the Fua loss were to get stopped here, but it does not. And there we go. We got him with the Fua. At least draw 1 off of that. Well done. And we have to now play through, if we're a Fiendsmith control deck, we should be playing Fiendsmith in Paradise, which we are in the graveyard. This is a disruption on the special summon, send a card from the field to the grave. We could also Veiler, Magnum Hunt, Bistils are good against Orcust. So in my discussion where it's hopeless against Orcust, there's a light, and the light is Bestials. Enough Bestials could potentially help keep Orcust at bay. I think that's what we're gonna need to make this more balanced. But as you see, Orcust himself is also playing Bestials because of how good they are. We now have the Millennium Engine without committing to a normal summon. We're going to put 7750 on the field at least. if we wanted to further commit with the Wedge Temple. You know, we're under full, right? Were we under something? Why did we heavily undercook? I'm kind of confused here. What did we do that we, are we ending our turn? We're that afraid of the Fiendsmith in Paradise? He can't, oh, he can't Mermaid? He can't discard the Orcus Nightmare? Not even Fiendsmith play? We have no way to discard. If they had back row, you could use the Nightmare Phoenix to discard it. Wow. Okay. Huh? And, bro, the Wedge Temple puts the Nightmare in the back row, and then you send it for the Doom Dragon. So that's not even correct. I don't understand. Why didn't we Doom Dragon the Nightmare? You don't have to play more than one Nightmare. Okay, I'm just a bit confused. We're gonna Lubellion Reborn. Lubellion activate, set up the regain, normal summon the Veiler. Let's moon it up. Druid Swarm banishing our Veiler. Let's get a draw on the regain if we wanted to. Did we already regain draw? Okay. Imperm, negate the sequence. We're under draw. We're under draw. Okay. So like, there's multiple things wrong in this duel. We're under draw. That's why we didn't draw. I'm like, what did we regain? We don't draw? Banish away the Magnum Hunt. Reborn from Engrave. Let's go. Well done. Now, mind you, it's just the philosophy of why Apollo was broken and could not be kept in check was because any deck that had any way to get bodies on the field would have the option to go into the Apollo. So what, they have to forever create all these weird summon limits just to ensure that Apollo can't be summoned? And now we're right back at the same issue. The same exact issue is any bodies generically can go into a moon. Any bodies generically could go into a mermaid. So the generic bodies into an Apollo is an issue, so is the moon, so is the mermaid. Well, moon is banned in the TCG for that reason, and mermaid is banned in the TCG and OCG for that reason. What is going on? In the TCG, moon, mermaid, and Apollo, all three are banned. All right. I guess TCG kind of knows what they're doing. Veiler. Negate. Ban all Link 1 and Link Force. Yeah, to deal with Mermaid, we should ban Orcus Nightmare. And to deal with Moon, we should ban Requiem. Easy. Double Druid Swarm trigger. You send me, I send you. And let's go from here. Lethal damage. Game 1 victory. So, yeah, Hawk Tua, I'm curious, did you have a brain fart on the Orcus Nightmare with the Wedge Temple, put it into the back or then send it for Doom? Possibly that may have been this scenario here, which is all okay. I just want to understand. I'm open-minded to anything. And you won. So if you win, there's no misplay. Let's go. Game 2. All right. So the big question was, if you don't go first and you don't have a maxi and you don't have a full loss, are the Bystials enough? And to be fair, it's not just the Bystials. We have Imperm, Ash, and double Bystial. This should be enough. I would think so. I will uninstall if this is not enough. I'll just, stream's over. We can't Bystial the Lurie. There's no body in the field to make these a quick effect. Come forth. Crimson Tier, send from the deck here. Let's Reborn back, further go into the sequence. Here's the Imperm. Negate. All Hawk 2 is trying to do is set up my Nibiru check, then go into my other plays. All right. Damn. Imperm, Maxi, Ghost, Bell. Just like that. We're going to Druid Swarm, banish away the Engraver Engrave. Maxi chained. So, you know, I'm thinking he didn't want to get rid of a hand trap and then discard the other hand trap just to get into the Orcus plays. We're going to be maxing at least off of one of the Bystials, though. Wait, what exactly happened? Okay, the Maxi got negated by the Ash. We have Ghost Spell and Impermanence. This is weak. This is no good. Bystial's putting in some good work, seemingly. Also, the board presence it gives you. Discard the Lurie Reborn. We're not going to Bell that. Let's for the Requiem. We can Bell the Sequence or Impermit. So we have to think which one do we want to use. Freaking Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel, attempt to banish the back row. Drew a Swarm, send the Sequence. Imperm, negate. Well done. Now 6,000 plus 25 is game. But we can Ghost Bell the card that was not game, and then summon the card that makes it game. Yeah. That's how that works. Okay. Good job. Let's hop into game 3. All right. Let's get to it. Let's do it. All right. This is when you're a more balanced deck. We have the Paradise, which will send a card from the field to the grave on a special summon, which we can finger the Desiree. We have Imperm negate a monster, Imperm negate a monster, Veiler negate a monster, and double special summon negate with the Wave King Caesar mate. 6 disruption. Now the Imperm's gonna turn off 2 of 6. We're now down to 4 disruption. You have to Imperm or Veiler this. Yup. Definitely. It's the best use of it. You do not Ash the Gursu. Ash Harp Horror, Impermer Veiler the Gursu. And this is, I'm talking about pure Orcus. So when it's concerning Millennium and Fiendsmith, it then becomes more complicated and what you have to use your disruption on. We're gonna Ash negate the Paradise. Okay, so now we have the called by for the potential Veiler here. Galatea, we're not going to search the deck here. Little Knight on summon, banish away the Impermanence. And then we just have to deal with the Veiler, which we already have the out for. We're in a good spot. Octua, can you play through it? Galatea Link 1 is a +1. She reborns herself back onto the field. We got Moon of the Closed Heaven into the Requiem. Detach, sure. As we go into the Crimson Tier, send from the deck here, send the 2 back row to summon the Doom Dragon, push this Wave King Caesar in the back row. I've said this a million times and I'll keep on saying it as long as it's relevant. Wave King Caesar does nothing to the Millennium Engine. The Millennium Engine special summons 3 times and pushes a monster back. Wave King Caesar can't stop any of the special summons and then gets pushed back. Call to the grave, finger the Veiler. So we brute forced through 6 disruptions. To be fair, we brute forced through 4. To be even more fair, we brute forced through 3. So why do I say 3 and not 6? Because we used called by as a board break-like effect by dealing with at least one of the disruptions. And then the Impermanence was even better as a board breaker as it dealt with 2 of the disruptions because they had 2 on the Wave King Caesar. 2-1. Good job, Orcus. Begin. To chain link block the field spell with Primera, you summon Primera, and then you put the field spell on chain link 1, Primera on chain 2. They then can't impulse stop your synchro summon. Let's see if we do that. Because we do have the ability to synchro. We then have the ability to Phalanx banish a monster. And beyond that, we pretty much just have those 2 forms of disruption, unless the crossout designate helps us with something else. How does he know? Who told him? How does he know to chain link block from impulse? What the? actual mad lad. Let's go. Baron de Fleur is here. Serenir is here. We're going to activate the Mitsurugi Mirror, come forth and summon into the Habakiri. Trigger the Futsu, search our deck. Regained is going to reborn the Baldrake, which is an additional form of disruption in addition to the Baron de Fleur negating. So we have the Phalanx, Baldrake, and Baron de Fleur. Trudea summon. Phalanx is just going to get you out of here. This is ridiculous. I feel like no one in TCG would know that you could do this. Phalanx is just banishing the monster until the next turn. You know, you think similarly to Little Knight. That's not true though. You can't impulse Little Knight because it banishes and then the monsters just simply come back. They return back to the field. Well, Phalanx does not return the monster back. It special summons it back on the next standby phase. And because of the next standby phase, we're gonna special summon your monster. I could impulse it now to stop the banish. What the hell? Baron de Fleur, negate. Prayers chain, mate. Well, you're now not banishing the monster. And it was so important to banish the monster that we even negated the card stopping us from banishing the monster. And now the Habakiri could come back if we have not tributed it yet, which of course it's coming back. And if you even had the Baron de Fleur still activatable here, you wouldn't even be able to negate because it's super chain link blocked mate. Let's go. And the Murakumo, Mitsurugi Ritual, Radus, but then we have Baldrake. Let's go. No, nice job on the Baldrake, further protecting the Baron de Fleur. Baron had to negate, Baldrake had to banish, and in the end, we keep our Baron de Fleur. We are going to be targeting the branded Regained. We're going to be activating. Wait, what happened here? Okay, so this can't be destroyed because of this. Face-up cards in your back row cannot be destroyed by card effects. So did we misplay? Of course we did. We didn't target the face-down card that would not be protected by the Centurion Auxilia. Let's now, from there, we further go into the Murakumo. Wipe the field. Kusanagi, add back the Mitsurugi Ritual. Saji adding the Purification. And let's now ritual it up. Tributing off the Murakumo, summoning the Habakiri. But I can Bestial banish the Murakumo. I mean, we are a Bestial deck. I know we want to call this a Centurion deck, but I feel like we are Bestial first with Centurion to synergize with the Bestials. And that was a big play for Bestials right there, being able to banish that Murakumo from coming back. Now, because the Murakumo being out of circulation, we don't have a properly summoned Murakumo in the graveyard. The prayers can only reborn from the grave. We just have a Purification negate. What do we have beyond that mate? The Futsu is improperly summoned. Thus, that's not going to be rebornable. Mitsurugi's in a horrible spot. Jerusalem's going to initiate by banishing the Futsu. Regain, going to return it back, draw a card. A try is going to be drawing a card. We're going to Purification, negate, and destroy the try. Interesting. Let's further Habakiri, add a prayers, reborn itself back onto the field here. Regained, reborn the Baldrake back, as we're now going to replace the field spell with a new one so we can actually use the effect, otherwise it's not activatable. Primera into the back row, reborn. Mitsu's got nothing. No plays whatsoever. We're winning this duel because of the Bestials. Dissipator. Target your opponent's banished Murakumo and summon it to your field. That could be risky because then it could put it back into circulation in their graveyard, but damn, it would be cool to do. Mitsurugi Prayers is going to be tributing off the Habakiri. We're going to use both effects. We're going to be reborning back the Habakiri through the effect of the... He's doing it! He's doing it! Your Murakumo is mine. Now, with just this screen, it's going to be like, what? Centurion's playing Bestial and Mitsurugi? What's the list? Bro's got double freaking Kaijus in his deck? Really? One is not enough? That's insane. We have Ash on the Habakiri effect, which you can Ash the Saji, Then we follow up with triple tactics talent, and we cope from there. That's it. Triple tactics. Both players on triple tactics. So both triple tactics talent and Nibiru stocks are up. Up, up, up. Now, YOLO draw 2. We can't afford to look at the hand here. Wow. Aramasa is a combo only to go for the Habakiri. If you already used Habakiri, this is dead. It's trash, but we do have Full Loss, we do have Max C. Hopefully that would be enough, right? Well, now we have Cross out to negate the Max C. Ua won't be drawing off of a special summoning from the back row or from the hand. Yeah, this is a straight up negate. And not only do we negate the Max C, we now have the triple tactics talent turned on. Ua will only be from the extra deck or deck. Centurion does not summon from the deck. And from the extra deck, we could, if we want to, we could save the summoning from the deck during your turn through the field spell. Primera, summon, searching for our Trudea. We're gonna use, we could also reborn from the graveyard if we have something rebornable. Triple tactics talent, we're going for the draw 2. Come to us, we now have Lubellion. We have regained in circuit. Regained is now gonna be drawing a card every single turn will be the goal. Trudea put the Gargoyle in the back row. Gargoyle from the back row. Like, you wouldn't even know that we're under Full Loss. Well, except they're gonna be drawing a card here, sure. As we're going to be further drawing a card. You draw a card, then you can optionally destroy a monster. Let's add back the Gargoyle. Randomly draw no Max C, why not? Banish you away. Magnum Hut, tribute off for the Lubellion, set up the Regained. Gargoyle's going to send the field spell, special summon. It's turn 2. Plu, what was that? I forgot we had a battle phase. Grand finale. Hajime. Lubellion is going to be searching our deck for the Magnum Huts. Why use Ghost Spell in this meta? I think Ghost Spell is great against prayers, right? Even Murakumo trying to reborn if it's not chain link blocked. In most cases, it will very likely be chain link blocked. We are now dealing with the Max C. In response, we're going to special summon a level 4 before they get a draw off of that. They do get to at least draw off of the Centurion Trudea. Trudea is going to put the Primera into the back row. We're going to banish the Wake Up, send the Phalanx from the deck to the graveyard. Now, the Phalanx in graveyard could target only a Centurion Synchro. If we're able to make a Legatia during their turn to then pop a card, then it goes to the grave, then we can reborn. With this, we are able to double Bestial Banish. I would call that 2 disruptions against this deck especially. And then with the back row being reborn, we could then synchro with the field spell to go into another form of disruption. We do have a measly triple disruption, but we're now under the effect of Lancia, right? Well, what happened to the Lancia? Why is Lancia in the graveyard? I completely lost my mind. We discarded it against Orchist? What do we want, a fair duel or something? Okay, we're gonna grab a Tract. Tract into Lurie, discard. Lurie, reborn. Lurie into Requiem. Requiem into our Crimson Tear. Engraver, try to reborn. Here's the first Bestial. Banish away. We're now down to double disruption. Ghost Spell negates a Bestial. We're gonna use the other Bestial. Banish that Engraver. Get the hell out of here. So we're doing the best we can to ensure they can't make a sequence. We're now going to be triggering the field spell and chaining the Primera. So this is not a chain link block, even though it looks like one. We would be able to respond to the stand-up Centurion with an Impulse if we were playing it. But if they're playing Fiendsmith, you don't have to play around Impulse because they can't play Impulse, they're playing Fiendsmith. We do have a Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur is probably going to negate this, right? I would think so. That's a great negate. Now, here's the issue. We're at 0 disruption. What if there was a generic Link 2 that fully bridges our way into Orchist? Or just see, we could do that too. That's another thing. Yep, sequence into Lacrima. Lacrima activates, reborn back on the field. Ah, there you are. There. First we sequence, then, yup, that's the generic Link 2 I'm talking about, which is a Link 1. Okay, fully bridged into Orchest is the way. And Lil Gursu, wouldn't it be great if you had a bear into floor? Huck Tua just boosted the freaking bear into floor before taking control of it. What the? Dirty. Galatea, that's like BM, right? I don't know, Gio, look through the rule book. Does he get a DQ for that? Reborn back the Galatea, pop the token, ding Gursu, could a non-target send if we want to, or attach a banished card, get the Trudea out of here. 9,000 damage. It's not even a temporary bear into floor. Whatever you take is permanently yours. Damn. Okay. Bestial Lubellion into Magnum Hut. Hey, you know, we're just an average Joe deck over here. We're trying our best. We have a Called By, Imperm, Ash, Magnum Hut. We try to win our duels fairly, okay? Anyone can play a top deck and, you know, blow themselves all over the field, right? But this is just honest, hard work we have down here. Let's Harp Horror, perfect. Ash, that's great. Or preempt the Call by the Grave Finger before it activates. That's good. Now, they're gonna struggle to get another body in the field. They can't discard the Lurie to then reborn it with the Mermaid, which is also some inherent synergy here. The Crescendo does work with the Galatea Link 1. We're gonna be Magnum Hut, banishing our own card. That really sucks that we're playing a deck filled to the brim with cards for us to banish, and we're banishing our own freaking card here. Now, Lubellion to then search another Lubellion, not a big deal. Let's search for our Serenir. When do we want to Crescendo? Lubellion wants to, you know, it's quite interesting the thought of, do we destroy this by battle first so that they can't Crescendo? Do we even know there's a Crescendo in the back row? He hard drew it, so there's no way to know that you should actually destroy this by battle before doing anything else. Thus, we get negated and banished. Yup. If it was searched or set, sure, battle. We could see the back row. You shouldn't know that it's even there. Let's Serenir, banish the Magnum Hut. Normal the try to battle. Quick effect, discard, searching for the World Crown. I was about to be like, what hidden effect is going on here? 2,500 to the face. MP2 into a Dispater. This is an interesting situation we have here. Dispater is going to be reborning our Magnum Hut, activating to search for a Bestial in the end phase. And how the Dispater is going to work here is if you return a shuffled card from your banishment into your deck, you're going to destroy a monster in response to it activating, but not negate it. If your opponent has a banished card and you shuffle that banished card back, you negate but don't destroy. So Dispater, Finger, Baldrake banish while on the field, and draw and Lockbird. We have 5 disruption here. Plu, you got it, mate. Let's go. Galatea, Link 1, banishing the Crescendo. You can Call by the Grave, Finger the Galatea. Well done. Now we need a Link 4 to add the Crescendo back to our hand. Be gone. Then we have 4 more disruption. We couldn't Bestial, they need to have a body on the field. Wedju Temple, put the crown in the Senju. Senju couldn't be negated by the Dispater. We're now going to draw Lockbird. So now we have 3 more, even though the draw is lingering. Doom Dragon is here. Attempt to push the Dispater back by returning back the Banish Harp Horror. We're negating, we're not destroying. 2 more disruption, and it's completely tied to the Baldrake. We have 1 more disruption. If they summon from the extra deck, we could banish. Well, Baldrake's effect essentially was eat up the opponent's battle phase, force them to attack before they use the extra deck. They haven't even normal summoned yet. So main phase 2, let's speed this up. This is gonna be a while. Requiem into Crimson Tear, send the Engraver here. The Baldrake ensured that this would be in main phase 2. Reborn back, the Engraver. Let's send, get rid of the Dissipator. Let's further go into the Sequence. Sequence fuse with the Graveyard into Lacrima. Do we add it back to the hand so that we can Mermaid? Right? We have nothing in hand. I think you would add it back to Mermaid plays, maybe. Oh, okay, he's doing it. Let's go. Hawk 2ing all over Plu right now. Linger and Logursu. Remember, let's add back the Omni Negate Crescendo Mate. Gursu, send Symbol. Do you all believe me now that people will be complaining about Orchist? It's going to be happening. We got to wait for it to happen in game. This Friday, over the weekend, people are going to be upset. All right, at least we don't have the Babble. No Babble, it turns off a lot of capability with the deck. Wow. What an honest little fellow we have here, trying to go into an L. Plan L. I don't think so. You could have let him summon it if you were just going to Little Knight it. Come on, man. Really, Hawktua? All right. Blue, you had your fun. 0 cards on the field. 0 in hand. Nothing activatable in graveyard. Lethal damage. Plu, I still immensely commend you. Thank you for doing well in today's event. And what I did not see from you was, where was the gravity collapse? You freaking took it out? That was all you. Even last week, Plu, top 8 with gravity collapse. Don't tell me you just didn't draw it all day. It's definitely not in your deck. Malice, the most tops. Now, the picture within the top 16, 2 Malice players got knocked out right away. They went 0 and 2. You could argue they got unlucky. I know, you want to laugh at them and point and all that great stuff. The 3rd Malice player timed out on their 3rd duel when they were about to win. So, still, all 3 Malice lost within the top 16, not getting to top 8. And then, let's see what all the decks are. Sprite from Ovidiug. Ovidiug, this is our super big 60-card Sprite deck. Good job to you, Mitsurugi Sprite. Let's just look at it here. There we go. Nice little look there. I gotta switch my camera over for the rest of the deck list. Well done, Ovidiug. 60-card decks are always fun. They're the most complained about on Reddit. All right. And then we have Melodious. Let me move my camera. Camera move. What the heck? Where am I? There we go. Swag Key Melodious. Keeping it nice and pure. So, the question, if you don't understand Melodious, is why is it pure? Is there a reason why we're pure? Melodious cannot special. These are the only cards restricting you. This one's not played. So this one is the turn. You would have to take this card out. You can't even use it after making the Fiendsmith plays. It's the turn you want to activate this. And what about the Bloom? Again, the turn. You can't even go into this if you're doing anything before it. All right, so those are the summon restrictions on why we're playing it pure. Konami should maybe do more of that. What do you think? Because a lot of people talk about summon restrictions, but they don't emphasize on the summon restriction of the entire turn. Because a lot of summon restrictions are just the rest of the turn, and as you can see, does that stop Orcus from being teched in with multiple different decks? They're still being played with non-darks, even though it dark locks you. Okay. Tenpai. Surge is Lab GG. Triple Lancia in the main. Ain't no way. And Mitsurugi Orchist. Super Hammy. 56 cards. What the hell? 2 Lancia in the main. That is the main deck. And then we have the extra deck here. It took a while to see it because of Ryzeal and Mouse blinding us, but I think we could all wholly agree that Mermaid was a mistake. Ryzeal Mitsurugi. All right. Good job, Kawaki. Ryzeal Mitsurugi on pre-prep. Is that the standard way to play? Let's see. Ryzeal Mitsurugi? No. 87% are not on pre-prep, but this is post-ban list. Will this become the new best way to play Ryzeal Mitsurugi? That's the question. And then we have Fiendsmith Control. Pretty simple deck. Triple Nibiru. Very nice. Well done. And then we have Plu with Centurion. Gravity Collapse is out. Good job, Plu. And then tier limits. Double tier. 40 card tier. You have Goat Laughs, no Thrust, but randomly milling it's still good. Release the Kraken. And then we have 60 card Baldy with the rollback, copying the Ghost Meets Girl to completely turn off the opponent's turn. Both players playing Brilliant Fusion, of course. It's like additional Foolish Burials, but even better because Foolish Burial doesn't give you access to an Aqua plus the tier limit. Brilliant Fusion is the tier trigger and an Aqua to fuse with it. Nuts. Good job. I'm sorry if you want Merly to come back, but Brilliant Fusion decreased the chance of that happening. Pure Mitsurugi. Pariah. We got Wuso, Impulse, Magatama, Pot of E. These are the main things that differentiate Pure Mitsurugi from the other builds. Also, not all non-pures. I would say the majority of non-pure are not on Purification, not on Futsu, and not on pre-prep. So further things solidifying the pure version. And then we have P-Gym. Also, triple Wuso. This is wild. Why do you feel like you need to hard draw this? You play 1 when you want to search it when you need it. You play 3 when you want to hard freaking draw it and really boost up your turn 2 capability. Interesting. How well did that work out for you? So of course, a brick going first without having to be said. Now let's look at the mouse players which could not break top 16 into top 8. Triple Nibiru in the main deck, triple Cynet Mining. Is that where we're at? Because I agreed that Cynet Mining was not the way to play it before this ban list, but post ban list, we may have to whip out the Cynet Minings. The cope is here. Yep. No Cynet Mining here in Noble S. All right. 1 Nibiru, double Lancia, and then Drex, triple Allure of Darkness. He is not on the Cynet Mining cope. Does not think we're there yet. Well done. Everyone has to play 3 hair now, right? Yeah, you have to. It's not even an option to drop it down. And then freaking Orchist. Timeless, top 8, 43. We have Millennium, Fiendsmith, and Orchist. And then Neo Hawkeye winning the entire event. Again, Millennium, Fiendsmith, and Orchist. Crazy good job to you. We have the anti-Nibiru as that's rising in prevalence with the Wave King Caesar. The deck inherently counters Droll and Lockbird. Don't get stopped by Droll. You don't get stopped by Nibiru. And your turn 1 is absolutely ridiculous. Tons of disruption. This really reminds me of Snake Eye, right? I feel like this is another flavor of Snake Eye. Snake Eye Fiendsmith is what I'm seeing. And there you go. That is the event. We're going to have another one on Friday with the new pack, whatever that new pack is. I should be making a video for the new pack announcement. Hopefully there are some interesting things to talk about with that. Let's go.